when it comes to motherfuckers in your life that you can spot as a goddamn agent, sheep, or a goddamn robot. And that's when you need to start correlating your time around them. You know what I'm saying? Start manufacturing your time around them. You know that you have certain time that you be spending around them that you have no business spending around them. And you don't have to get on the internet and get messiahed out following individuals that make you in this, put you in this mind frame that you need to totally and negatively go against family and friends and things of that nature. Sometimes you're around individuals who just don't know no better, and you have to be used as a vessel. So you have to be the strong enough spirit to come up with different ways to align yourself with them, to the point that you can still be in their presence while being an example in ways that you don't even know you're being an example. And that's when you're a strong spirit, where you create the environment around you to change in your concept. You don't run from your environment because it don't match your concept. You're strong enough as a spirit, and you're doing enough things for God that God used you as a vessel in that extreme concept. And you change that realm of reality. You change that environment, and you change the people that's around. Or you're not being used for God, and you're running away from life, and you're looking for a shortcut and a monetary gain or something that cater to your motherfucking your comfortability, right? Because you got a comfort zone that you don't want to get out of, and it ain't really manifesting for you either. But you know, you'll do anything in the world that look like it's easy, that you could continue to manifest in the world and remain in your comfortable position. But these are all ramifications of you shaking hands with the devil, or you shaking hands with demons to be able to get that done. And every now and then, you know, you meet the right group of demons to get it done. But if you don't continue that path and look at the bed that you made and be like, yeah, I know this the bed I made. And when shit don't work, I know why it didn't work. And when shit work, I know I'm a fucked up individual, but this the things that I'm doing to get work, to make it work. This you being a demon and knowing what you're doing. And you got to be a good demon at this point. Because once you reach one of those forks in the road and you being unfulfilled still and things of that nature, that's when you want to go, that's when you're going to get into this vibration of wanting to change your life for God. So spiritually, you're going to change you're going to jump out of that mentality and jump into a new space. But you got a lot of unfinished business, a lot of contracts you didn't sign, a lot of terms and conditions you didn't agree with other spirits and other demons and other spirits that's in bodies that's playing out demonic energies too and shit like that before they try to get manifested down here as a circumstance or your child. And if you leave an unfinished business done, that means you're responsible for certain responsibilities that you're not taking responsibility for. And therefore, these become ghosts. These become toxicity. These become old things that you should have taken care of, but you allowed these things to go out of hand. And now it's going to become an accumulation of a circumstance future ahead of you when you go back into that ass with your head. And AKA, a lot of things slow you down at that point because it was situations you should have been taken care of, but it come back to bite you in the ass. So you got to make sure also you're on that goddamn path of shit. But look, strike one. Strike one in this motherfucker. People who have a lot of suggestions for you. People who have a lot of suggestions for what you need to do that has nothing to do with your gifts or your talents, aka steer you away from your gifts and your talents. And a lot of times, the first agent, sheep, or robot in this perspective be your family. You know what I'm saying? Your close ones, your siblings, your parents. Because a lot of times your gifts and talents don't look like it's something in the world to obtain security, stability, support, and safety in some way, as far as from the shadow government. And why I keep missing one? Safety, security, stability, support, and shelter. There you go. That's all people be searching for. So for the most part, here's the thing. When your gifts and talents don't look like it can manifest or materialize that, you may have people in your life looking at you like you're wasting your time. You might have people in your life looking at you like you're like preaching to the choir or something like that. And you need to be doing something real first before you start thinking about that. Even if, let's say you get a scholarship or something like that because you're good at sports. And you might have a parent or somebody be like, wait a minute, that ain't important. You need to go ahead and get that education out of that college first. And out of high school before you go straight and do with that, whatever that sports. Because if you hurt yourself, what you gonna fall back on? Like they may be telling you things that you can fall back in the shadow government filtering system and be like, yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, it's blocking you from your gifts and talents that we don't know what can happen. And go but basing your judgment off this individual, even if you do hurt yourself, that don't mean that you wasn't supposed to experience that to lead to something else to expand this universe with a new all possibility. But just catering to what you think makes sense based upon security, stability, shelter, support, and safety, you might be putting yourself into a situation and think that this person's idea make more sense. And in a spiritual realm, that don't make sense. You end up blocking yourself from doing what God wants you to do. But in the physical Lucifer world, it make a lot of sense because it's you not playing yourself in a way that you don't seem retarded, or you don't seem unnormal, or you don't seem like you're rebellious and you're doing what other people do or what they expect out of you. And these demons, what they expect out of you, they're just demons and humans. They only expect shit from the shadow government. So if you ain't even spiritual, you will allow a demon who don't know no better to rock you to sleep. So you got to peep motherfucking game in this bitch. You see what I'm saying? Thank you so much for the donation. Sylvia, the screenwriter. I like that name. I appreciate that too. So strike one. People who have a lot of suggestions for you on what you need to do that has nothing to do with your motherfucking gifts or talents, aka steer you away. This is a close one turned agent at the moment and at that moment. This is a close one that turned into an agent at that moment, right? And the kind of agent that they turned to in that moment was in the aspect of not believing in you and suggesting you should do something more familiar to the shadow government program. And they low-key really don't even respect you until you doing things like the sheep do. So you can have the most talented gift ever in front of them and things of that nature. And they won't respect you until you're doing it in the way the shadow government wants you to do it. You might want to be a drawer, an artist in another kind of way, right? But since you around people that seen a Walt Disney movie, so in this Walt Disney movie, the way people become artists got to be this way, right? So this is how the shadow government structure your minds without martial law knocking at everybody's door one by one. They knew how to do it with witchcraft now. The global UFO magic wand. So now the people around you is looking at you crazy because in their mind, they like, wait a minute. You supposed to go to college and do this, or you supposed to go meet this person and do this, or you supposed to go into this art show and do this. And you know what I'm saying? So since you're not doing none of those things for your artists, right? They're going to be looking at your drawing in a non-respectable way. And your drawing might be way better than Picasso and everybody. But just because you're not going about it in the way that they have been socially engineered and programmed to be familiar with thinking that this is how you're supposed to go about it, then they're not even going to consider what you're doing is good. They're not even going to consider what you're doing is gifted and talented. And it takes you to do what you're doing and to get and to inspire other people that's doing it already in the faces of what's already programmed for your friend or family member to look at it like, oh yeah, that's the normal way to do it. Then once those people that they looking at start promoting you and start doing things of that nature, then that's when this person start getting unagified. Because now they're about to come around you and be like, oh, I saw you around this. But you had to change the mind of the person that was already doing it normal to rock the person that's around you to sleep, to make them already socially engineered, to make them think that this is the only way to go about something. So you have to become powerful enough. You got to kill two birds with one stone. You got to influence the motherfuckers that's influencing the people around you. Just to have them change their mind, just for you to even start working on their mind and be like, yeah, what I always was doing was the right way. You know what I'm saying? It was different. And then that's sometimes a fuck you up. Because once you reach a certain level, it's default. You're going to have certain resentment. It's by default. You're going to have a chip on your shoulder. So how negatively you start to express yourself to this individual is on you. And that's you and God spiritual battle. You know what I'm saying? You and God conversation. That's between you and God and how much you know you going too far with it or not. I can't get into that. That's with you and God right there. But I brought you to the water.